Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana here.
This is Alfie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Casper inside.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther the Third, and now from the top of Metal Mountain, all the way down to all 50 states in the globe is Happy Hill himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
I'm good. I just wanted to say really quick, today in his WWE history was when the Macho Man Randy Savage debuted for the WWF, and we would like to thank our friend from PPW, Mr. Paul Bow, for sending us some awesome goodies yesterday in the mail. The t-shirt, the autograph card, and a bunch of some awesome trading cards from PPW, and also sent us a really awesome 8x10. Thank you, Paul. You are the man. Everybody needs to check out PPW in Pennsylvania. They are fire. Now,
what's going on, Alex? How's it going?
Alex, what's going on, bro?
Is that Lance, the wrestling guy? Actually, to be honest, I'm a wizard, so I'll shoot the fireballs.
Benny, what's up, friend? See you next Friday. What?
What's up? So,
okay, let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside welcome to Eliza Hammer.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
We had a long intro today. So sorry,
Okay.
So, if our fans are not familiar with you and where you wrestle, introduce yourself.
I'm Eliza Hammer. I'm a graduate of the Supreme Pro Wrestling Training Academy under Sir Samurai and Scoot Robertson. I'm from California, like Northern California to be more precise. I've been wrestling for 5 years now. And I mean, that's the story.
So who trained you?
Sorry?
So who trained you?
Sir Samurai and Scoot Robertson at the Supreme Pro Wrestling Training Academy.
Awesome.
So what was your energy like when you first stepped in the doors for your first training session?
It was really, really crazy for me because I have, I think, a very different story than most people kind of come in with. Because like the traditional thing is like, oh, I've been watching since I was a kid and I dreamed of doing this, which is like amazing. And I was not one of those people at all. I actually had never seen a wrestling match my first day of training. My trainer, Scoot Robertson, he and I actually did a play together in college. We did Charlotte's Web, and I was Wilbur. And we had this like party for Memorial Day one year in 2017. And he was saying, oh, I'm opening this wrestling school. Not to me, mind you. He was trying to convince someone else to come to his wrestling school. And I overheard it and was like, oh, could I check it out? And I'm thinking it's like Olympic wrestling, like mat wrestling, and just going to be like a good workout. And he's kind of like, yeah, sure. And so a few months later, we're in another class together, and he goes, hey, I'm opening this school. Like it's happening September 11th. You should come out. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to, but I was like, we were good friends. I wanted to support him in what he was doing. So I came out, had no idea what to expect. And I saw them do the International, the Universal, and I was like, wow, if I could do a front flip one day, all my dreams would come true. Like that's all I even like really wanted to do. Like I had no concept of, I'm going to have a match or anything because I had never seen one. And so it really developed from there.
Wow. So
Yeah.
just being friends with someone from Charlotte's Web, and then you just get invited to go to a wrestling school. That's absolutely amazing right there. So that story.
See, with me, it's funny. After that whole thing with Charlotte Webb, I'm the funny one. I would have actually added like a spider themed in my character because to tie in the spider Charlotte Webb thing, or call yourself Charlotte Webb or Charlotte Spider or something like that.
So when I debuted, actually, I couldn't think of a name, and so I debuted as Pork Chop because I was the pig, and so I debuted as Pork Chop, and I wrestled maybe 5 or 10 matches under the name Pork Chop, and kind of had people go like, you should find something different. So
yeah, that's not a good name. No.
I mean, to be honest, sometimes, I'm going to say this, that sometimes even the crappy gimmicks, some of the wrestlers, they can make it work. But I mean, pork chop, it sounds like, doesn't seem like it's going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a tough one for sure.
That was a tough sell. And then you get the veggie people saying, right. After you're saying, this is not a good gimmick for me.
Right. And sometimes there's certain owners that hear a certain name from a wrestler and they get like that sweat, like Key and Peele the meme with the sweating. Like, I don't know if you could do that. That may be offensive to somebody.
Especially as a female wrestler, I think people were not really sure how to take it or like really what it meant. So I changed it. I changed it pretty quick.
Yeah. So, who is your dream opponent is?
I would love to wrestle Willow Nightingale.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's spectacular. She was one of the first female wrestlers that I saw, and was just like, wow, like she just blew me away.
Yeah. Her and you, it would be an awesome match because she's somebody that needs to be on everyone. You as well, but it's like she needs to be on everyone's TV screens, man.
Oh, absolutely.
She's amazing. I don't know, Joe. Have you ever seen her live or?
I think I've seen Will Nightingale. I think wasn't she on a show? Wasn't she like on a show we were watching one time? Wasn't it?
I'm saying live wise. Have you ever seen her live? She's amazing.
I've never seen her live. I've seen her on YouTube, but not like live.
No, but so we have a comment from the question. It's like she wants to know. Everso Spiffy wants to know, how did you come up with your gimmick?
So what I was told when I started wrestling is like any kind of gimmick should pretty much be just you. I mean, just you, but really exaggerated. And so Eliza Hammer, or Dramatic Eliza Hammer, was kind of my moniker for a long time. And it really came from just being in theater and being like, I can be a very dramatic person, a very over the top person. That's how I am in the ring. Like very kind of extreme is how I think of it. In like emotionally and just kind of my style of wrestling.
So one of the pictures you sent us, I saw it and I told it to Geek before you came in. I was like, you should use that one on the poster. I'm like, Instagram kick us out. So you said before that wasn't the first time you bled. So what was it like the first time you like were bleeding in a match? Did you get nervous? Was it like?
Oh yeah. My first hardcore match was actually my trainer, Sir Samurai, his 1000th match. And it was my debut for my home company, Supreme Pro Wrestling. So it was already, without even the hardcore aspect, it was like a really intense experience because I was so nervous. And then you add to that it was my first hardcore match. So it was really intimidating. And Samurai ended up winning with a superplex into just a pile of all the stuff we had like hit each other with during the match, but also thumbtacks. And so that was my first like, okay, like I'm bleeding and like in a considerable amount of pain. And it was wild. It was intimidating for sure.
Is there any like hardcore spots you would refuse to take, or
I would say no, with a caveat. I think in the right situation, for the right company, for the right match, I would do anything. Like I would be open to anything, but it definitely has to be the right situation, because there's stuff is dangerous. Like I had been telling you guys before the show, I did a spot one time where my opponent wrapped my arm, like pretty much tied my arm to the ropes with barbed wire, and so I've got like, there we go, like some scars on this arm from that, and that hurt excruciatingly bad. And that's the sort of thing that I definitely wouldn't say that I'd never do barbed wire again. It's just has to be the right situation, the right opponent, the right match.
Yeah, we had a girl on our podcast. Her skin was actually hanging, and then Tommy Dreamer actually said, "Wow, that's hardcore."
That's incredible. I would just die right there. I would just be like, okay, I've done everything. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Retired.
Retired from life.
But it's on the podcast. It's I think
last year, right?
From last year. I think it was Jules, right? Jules.
Yeah, Gem Jules? No, Jules.
No, Jules. It was Jules.
Yeah, but she is like she's from Canada, so like up there, there's different rules. So it's time that. Is there any other like country or other state east where we are like that you would love to venture to?
Everywhere. I definitely love to go to Canada. I had a booking that I thought I was going to get another booking in Canada. It didn't work out. But I just want to travel everywhere that I can. I've been to Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Arizona this year. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to travel and wrestle, wherever I can.
And that's the best part of it. Like if you're from a different area, like you are from California,
yeah,
there's always an opportunity to branch yourself out to a different state, like us being from the East Coast and you're from the West Coast. Like that's so cool that like us, we're from the East Coast and you're from the West Coast, and we're able now in this era to do a podcast, even though you're like 1 hour time difference than us.
3 hours.
And 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours. Yeah.
3 hours.
3 hour time difference. And we're able to do this. Back in the 90s, we'd be on a phone and really do
right.
using like someone's internet right now would be like someone's time, like a phone service would be so like using it really bad right now.
Yeah.
I think they had Google Hangout back in the day.
Yeah, I know about that, Geek. Remember, I had a show before there was Dudes at Ringside, there was Wrestle Talk.
Yeah, there was Google Hangout back in the day, so there you go.
That was annoying. If we had to do Dudes at Ringside on Google Hangout, if the guest sneezed and we were doing it, asking a question, screen would have went right to you. Yeah. You would have been spotlighted sneezing.
Oh.
No. Yeah, it was bad. It was Google Hangout. Correct.
Yeah.
So is there any music or any like activity you do to get you ready for a match? Say, I need to do this before my match.
Yeah, I have a few songs that I listen to before every match. I just try to get like warmed up to the point where I'm like out of breath. So I'm like right before I'm like jumping around. I'm like, like not punching walls, but punching near walls, just trying to get psyched up. Yeah.
That's the fun part of being a wrestler. You get yourself so psyched up, but when you get out there, you're like, either you're all in or you're like the old cell phone battery is all charged, and then you pull it off the charger and be new.
Yeah. That's why I try to get psyched up. Like I really try to never have those moments where I go out and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. Like, and I'm so new in the business. I think it's definitely part of it, but every match, it's so special to me to get the privilege to wrestle that every time I'm ready to go, you know?
That's the best part of it, right, Geek? Like,
Yeah.
like you're so new in the business that like it's hard to be humble. Have you ever like got a chance to like speak to any of the older wrestlers from like back in the day at any of your events and like got any advice from them?
Yeah, I've been lucky to talk to, you know, a few like older or much more established wrestlers, and yeah, I've always gotten really great advice. Lita told me to make sure I get massages, so I've taken that to heart.
Gotta listen to Lita.
Yeah, got
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I already asked my question.
I'll go ahead. Continue.
So, have you ever created yourself in any the WWE games? I think everybody has, but
I haven't. I'm a very like chill video game player. I love video games, but I actually don't like fighting in games.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really like exposing myself here, but I like Stardew Valley and just things where it's like very relaxing. You're not like no one's trying to hurt you. You're just like hanging out, like The Sims. So, because I very much like I have a kind of stressful job, and so when I come home, I like to just relax and kind of do my own thing. So I have played a WWE game, but yeah, it's kind of too intense for me.
What would you say the toughest job about being a wrestler is?
The toughest part about being a wrestler, there's a lot of like, I don't know that rejection is the right word necessarily, but a lot of wrestling is just working hard and kind of waiting for a moment, you know? And sometimes that's like a match, and sometimes that's like a booking, you know, with a company that you've been kind of wanting to wrestle for. So, you know, a lot of that waiting. And then, you know, sometimes people, like for me, like I had said, I started wrestling with no experience, like even watching wrestling. So training was very different for me because I was not only learning how to wrestle, but I was learning everything about wrestling. So, you know, when they're going like, oh, we're going to learn suplexes, I'm like, awesome. What is that? You know? So then there'll be other people that come in and are just really gifted and know wrestling really well. And so it can be really tough to kind of watch those people like really kind of skyrocket, and you're like, oh, okay, like, hello, I'm here. But I think part of that was definitely when I was a lot like newer in training. Like I've come to just really be very happy for, especially people that I train, everyone that I train with. I love to see them succeed and, you know, and get to experience new things. It's really, really cool. So yeah.
Awesome. Next kid comes.
Go ahead.
Have you seen any good movies lately, or?
Have I seen any good movies lately? I watched, I can't remember what it is called. It was, I want to say, a French movie. Maybe it might have been called 100 Meters or something like that. It was about a triathlete who got diagnosed with like a really serious health condition. Or he wasn't a triathlete, he was just a guy, got diagnosed with a really serious health condition, and I want to say it was MS, and he trained really hard and kind of like overcame the odds to become a triathlete and actually do an Ironman triathlon, which is like 2.5 mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and then like a full marathon, 26.2 miles. So that was really inspiring to me.
Awesome.
So, what would you say your toughest opponent you ever had was?
Toughest opponent I've ever had. Probably Drake Frost. Is actually my most recent match with him. It was the match that we had talked a little bit about earlier, of like the picture of me just like all bloody. Because we had a match. He has we've been building to for a while. And he not only threw me through a door during the match, but after the match, hit me with a kendo stick covered in thumbtacks twice.
Ooh.
So yeah, right in the face. So yeah, that was tough. And he's like a huge guy, like incredibly strong. So it's a different strategy because I'm 6 feet tall. So a lot of the women I wrestle are smaller than me. So it's a much different strategy all of a sudden being like, okay, here's this giant dude who can just like crush me at any moment. It's much more like having to escape and kind of wear him out and wear him down. So that was really difficult.
What I was gonna say? Sorry, I was about to ask you. What do you think? What was the most creative weapon you've seen used in hardcore wrestling?
Ever or in a match that I've been in?
I guess you've been in, or
and never.
So the kendo stick covered in thumbtacks was, I think, pretty different. And one that I've seen was they had maybe a 2 foot by 2 foot square like plywood board, and they drilled rows of holes in it and then stuck fish hooks through the holes and then secured it. Yeah, and then laid it down and suplex the person onto it, so it was literally in their back. And so they picked them back up, and literally it's in their back, like it is in them, attached to them. Huh?
They can say that, like, they from that movie Wedding Bridesmaids. It's inside me now.
Literally, it was crazy. I was watching that match and I was just like, okay, that's crazy.
So, you mentioned, you said you went through a door. So, lately, what do you think about this whole thing now that everybody's using doors instead of tables? Like, what do you think about that?
They don't make wooden tables anymore.
Really? They don't?
No, they don't.
That's what it is. Because I've always thought maybe it's cheap. Like the promoters are all like, doors are cheaper to get. So I figured maybe people, the promoters got smart and say they break easier too. So they're probably saying we'll use doors instead. But you're telling me that they don't make wooden tables anymore?
Yeah, they make the folding table, or the folding tables, the plastic.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't. What I've been told is like back in the day, you could buy wooden tables at like Home Depot, at like Office Max, or I don't know, wherever, Walmart, and now you can't like really buy them anymore. Like you can buy them online, but they're super, super expensive because they're not really made anymore. And doors are pretty expensive, but readily, available.
So our memories right there of watching a TLC match.
R.I.P. door. R.I.P. tables. Jeez.
That's it, man.
Well,
it's over, man.
I feel like WWE and kind of companies like that probably have someone that just makes them for them, because I don't think we're gonna see them using doors anytime soon. Like I just can't imagine that that's gonna happen. But when you have it's really different, like on the independent level, trying to figure out something like that versus like WWE and AEW. They're just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, of course it's $500 for a table, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll pay for it. We'll pay for it.
Textbook. I got this.
Right.
That's it. Mr. Tony Khan over there and Mr. Vince McMahon. Ching. That's it.
They have a friend that makes doors in their barn in Connecticut. Like, keep making them.
Right. I would be surprised. I would think that at this point they would probably have someone that just makes tables.
Yeah, probably wood, probably old wood that they had from something else, and they just recycle the table, make sure nothing's broken. Because I heard a weird thing. I don't know if you heard about this, guys. That the reason why they're not using the table is because people were getting hurt by the metal bar underneath the table would pop up and smack them. That's what I heard. I don't know.
I mean it does. I've had that happen. I had a little chunk taken out of my back. But I don't know. It's just one of those things, that I don't worry about things like that so much because it's like, if I'm going through a table, I'm going through a table. What happens. Like,
you just think about it beforehand. You're like, okay, hope this goes right. You know what I mean? That must be like something that goes through your mind if we walk into the curtain before you go to the curtain before you do a hardcore match or something like that.
Not real. I try not to really think along those lines. I think it's like it makes sense to think along those lines, but as soon as you start thinking about that, then you're like, I hope I don't get hurt. I hope I don't, and it's like you just can't think about that. I mean, because the only times that I end up getting so in my own head and so worried that I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. So yeah, I just don't think about it. I don't think about how much stuff's gonna hurt. I don't think about anything like that. I'm just like, this is gonna be fun. Whatever happens.
Yeah. So yeah. Do you have any social medias or you want to plug or?
Yeah, I'm on everything. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. It's all Eliza Hammer. And yeah, Supreme Pro Wrestling. We're having our show Watermelon Sugar in Elk Grove on July 17th. So that's, if you're in the area, definitely something you want to check out. As well as Supreme Pro Wrestling's also on Instagram, on Facebook. I don't know that we're on Twitter. We might be. But yeah, check out Supreme Pro Wrestling and come see our shows. They're a lot of fun.
Do you guys have a YouTube channel?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think we do. But I'm not 100% sure on that.
Fun.
Yeah. And the Honor Society, also like the Honor Society on Facebook. We're on Facebook. So that's my stable that I'm in. So.
All right.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You've been awesome at telling your stories and everything.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Please tell your friends, spread the word, and tell your owner. Because remember, this is West Coast Wrestling Month. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm the Metal Geek.
And I'm Eliza Hammer.
We will catch you in the next one. By the way, happy West Coast Wrestling Month.